top story of the day in the NFL is without a doubt Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy coming out today, GM and coach of the Bears, saying what we all assumed, that Nick Foles is coming to compete. It's an open competition at the quarterback spot in Chicago. How in the world is that going to play out, Albert?
It's going to be interesting, too, because they're not going to have the spring, in all likelihood, to go through it, and so it's going to be, I think, to some degree, a little bit of a fire drill when they get to the summer. And I think at the same time, I think part of the reason why the Bears proceeded the way they did, I know part of the reason they proceeded the way they did at the quarterback position was because they knew they were going to have to, A, continue to get Mitch Trubisky reps if they wanted to give him any chance at all, and B, find a way to bring in somebody new who would be able to get up to speed quickly. And that's why the two guys they targeted and when they were looking at different trade options were Andy Dalton and Nick Foles, because both those guys had background in the system. And so the fact that Foles was with, John DeFilippo in Philadelphia, the fact that he was with Matt Nagy in Kansas City is huge, because it means they won't have to get him up to speed on quite as much as you would a normal new player. And I think it's also, at the same time, kind of an acknowledgement of where they're at. I mean, they've got an awful lot of players that are right in the prime of their careers. Guys like Khalil Mack and Eddie Jackson and Fuller. You can go right on down the line. There are a lot of guys that are sort of square in the prime of their careers. This window isn't going to last forever. And so I think they knew they needed better production out of that position based on where their cap situation is. They're probably going to have to make, some hard decisions over the next couple of years on some guys. And so, you just let the two guys compete and you see what you can do and try to get the most out of this sort of group of Chicago Bears. And that's going to be where they're at going into camp, is make a decision as quickly as you can. So then you can kind of give the team the word on who their quarterback's going to be, and then you can build around that guy. But, certainly a big part of this, without question, is the fallout of the decision to take Mitch Trubisky over Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, man, because you want to talk about, an admission of where you are. When you used that phrase a moment ago, I thought you were referring to the second overall pick of the draft, now 4 drafts ago, or soon to be 4 drafts ago, taken over the reigning MVP of the Super Bowl and an MVP candidate year in and year out, a very special player in Deshaun Watson, and admitting that you need to bring in competition for him. And there won't be any competition, as you point out, in the spring in which to make a decision whether you pick up a 5th-year option, right? I mean, how's that all going to work?
Right.
Albert?
I don't know. I don't know if they can pick up the 5th-year option. That's tough because, and look, like this year is only injury guaranteed. The different aspects of that in the CBA don't kick in until next year. So it'll only be injury guaranteed if they pick up the Mitch Trubisky's 5th-year option, but it's expensive. And if he gets hurt, then you're on the hook for it. And so here's what's tricky about that is, if you do decide, okay, we're going to pick up the 5th-year option on him, well, then if he doesn't win the job, you're in the situation the Redskins were in however many years ago with Robert Griffin. And you remember that, Rich. He was a healthy scratch every week, and they had to carry 3 quarterbacks on the roster. Colt McCoy was there too, as a result of that, which means you lost 1 player off the team. And part of that for the Redskins was, well, we want to show confidence that, we still believe in Robert Griffin. So then say you decide you're not going to pick up the 5th-year option. Well, then, now what message are you sending to Mitch Trubisky? You didn't pick up the option. You brought out Nick Foles. And so how is that going to affect him? It's a tricky situation. And again, I mean, I think Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy have done a good job of building that team up over the last couple of years. But my God, if you look at the fallout from that one decision, a single decision, to go with Mitch Trubisky and trade up for Mitch Trubisky, when Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes were sitting right there for them, it's right there for you. I mean, just a major, I could call it what it is, screw up there to go in one direction, not one of 2 others.